Pretty much every programming language you could ever want to use will support arrays. Your Visual Basic for applications is no different. It supports arrays. Now, an array is a group of variables that all have the same data type and all have the same name. Effectively, you declare the variable as an array, and within it you can have a number of indexes, a number of pockets. If you think of example such as the months of the year, there are 12 months of the year. We could create, instead of 12 variables, we create one variable called month name, and within it we have 12 indexes, 12 mini pockets of information, shall we say. So how do we declare an array in our VBA? Well, when you want to use an array, it must be declared, unlike normal variables that if you take this option explicit off, you can get away with not actually declaring it. You still have to declare a variable before you can use it. And you declare it in pretty much the same way as a normal variable, dim or public. And we say dim array test, open brackets, and then the number of indexes, effectively, the number of internal pockets we would like to store. So I could say 25 as integer, which will create your 25 index array that will hold integers. Now, indexes of arrays actually run from 0 to whatever number they get to. They go up by 1. So by saying array test 25, we have 25 indexes, but they actually run from 0 to 24. If you want your array to run from 1 to 25, you actually have to declare that in the brackets here. So let's keep that line, declare another line. So this will need to be array test 2. And we'll declare this as having index numbers from 1 to 25, as opposed to 0 to 24 when you just define 25. Now you could, alternatively to doing one of these, let's start at 1 and go to 25 things, you could actually set a default up and say option base 1. Now this would have to be one of the first declarations within your module, hence the reason for me putting it at the top just after option explicit. Option base 1 now tells the VBA that any indexes that are used must now start at 1 as opposed to the normal 0. In which case, this declaration here will actually run from index 1 to index 25, as opposed to the default of 0 to 24. It's just something to bear in mind, because what we need to be able to do is actually access each of the index values within your array. And in order to do that, we need to know whether they start at 0 or whether they start at 1. So by adding option base 1, we are forcing the indexes to start at 1. Without that, so if I comment that out, the indexes will start at 0 here, but they'll start at 1 here because we've told it to start at 1. So how do we make use of our array once we have one? Well, let's return to the idea of the months being stored in an array. So let's say dim month names 12 as string. So we have our little box called month names, inside which there are 12 smaller pigeonholes. We need to put values into those pigeonholes. So to assign values to indexes within an array, we simply say month names open brackets 0 equals January. Month names open bracket 1 equals February. So we can assign values to any one of the indexes within our array, remembering whether you've started at 0 or whether you started at 1. So let's put this little section here inside a routine. So sub months show, and you notice it's put the end sub, but for me that's in the wrong place because I want this lot to be within the subroutine. And then we'll simply message box one of the given months, which is month names 1. So this procedure, when run, will create an array. We're actually only assigning values to 2 of them, and then our message box will write out the value of the second index. So let's take our name down to the immediate window and return to run. February is in the second index position. So that's making use of the array feature, and you'll see as we delve into more programming, this will be used quite regularly, and you'll find that we use it with loops so that we can loop through each of the values of the array. But for the moment, we need to know how to declare them. So that's dim name of the array, open brackets, number of indexes within that array, close brackets as data type. There are other options for defining the number of indexes. So we can say from a number to another number, so a whole number to a whole number. We can set the option base up here at the top of your module to 1 if we want our indexes to start from 1 rather than the default 0. And then we can assign values to any of the index holes within your array by using the name of the array, open brackets, the index number, close brackets, whatever it equals, and then we can pull out values by simply referencing the array name and then the index value you would like to return.